Let me know if you can hear me. Welcome to Excel from scratch. This is Master Excel from scratch live training for beginners. Kindly let me know if you can hear me. My name is Franklin. We are live once again. Let me know if you can hear me. We was having a little bit of network glitch and logistics, some technical issues, and I think it has been resolved. Please let me know if you can hear me. This is Excel from scratch, Excel for beginners. This is Excel course for beginners. If you can hear me, drop in the chat box. I welcome everyone to tonight's section. Welcome everyone to this live training. Excel 101, I tagged it. Beginners course, learning Excel from scratch. From yesterday, I have been receiving a positive feedback about yesterday's section. Much appreciated from us. It's good to know that we are making impact. It's good to know that what we are doing is yielding results. Some persons have reached out to me and said, yes, yesterday is a very, very impactful section. Much appreciated. So let me know if you can see my screen, if you can hear me, so that we move straight to what we have tonight. Let me know if you can hear me, if you can see my screen, so that we move straight to what we have. Let everyone know that we are live. Let everyone know that we are live. Let everyone know that we are live. All right. Welcome to tonight's section. Let everyone know we are live once again. Go and share the good news. Go and share the good news. We are live once again. We are live once again this night. For this section, let everyone know that we are live. Excel from the scratch. Today we will be diving deeper into Microsoft Excel. Today we will be going a bit deeper into Excel, taking it further from what we have last week, what we have yesterday rather. Last week was for another persons. So this night we will be continuing from where we stopped yesterday, and with that we will be looking at Excel tables once we get into what we have. So let's quickly move to what we have for tonight. Once again, you are welcome with a session we tag Excel 101. I tagged it Excel 101 beginners course, of course, by Solomon Institute of Tech and Management. And tonight we are going to be looking at these things. This is a bit of intro about me. We are going to be going straight to day 2 of this training. We are going to be looking at day 2 for this particular training this night. So tonight we will be looking at Excel tables. What are the Excel tables? What are we going to benefit? How do we use Excel tables for productivity and for our work? We will be looking at that this night. The next is Excel functions. Like we have some basic functions yesterday, we will also be looking at more functions, more Excel functions and formulas tonight. Also, we will be looking at data visualization. We will be looking at data visualization this night. Also, we will be looking at data validation. We will also be looking at data validation as well. That is one of the things we will be looking at as well. We will be looking at conditional formatting. We're also going to be looking at conditional formatting and number formatting as well. The next we will be looking at is basic pivot table and chart. These are things I'm trusting that we will be able to finish this night. I'm trusting that we will be able to finish this night. We already a bit late. If you belong to any platform, just go there, let every one of them know we are live once again. Just go to any platform you belong, type there that we are live. Let everyone rush down to tonight's section. These are things we will be considering this night. We will be looking at Excel table, more Excel functions and formulas, data visualizations, how to use charts and stuff like that, data validations, how to put structure and more, how to instill structure and data integrity in our Excel. Then also conditional formatting, number formatting, basic pivot table, and then some hands-on practical projects. That is what we are going to be looking at tonight. Now, without much time, let me get to this. Coming up this March, like I said yesterday, we will be diving deep into AI-powered content creation to leverage the power of AI in the 21st century on to create contents, to start up a profitable YouTube channel, to start up a profitable social media account that will get you up to the monetization level and then start earning from it. This training is one of the training we have lined up for March. If you are part of the Soluma career growth community, this is one of the training that we have lined up for this month of March. Is going to be awesome. It's going to be a powerful training. You never want to miss it. You really will not want to miss it. I will encourage you to share the good news, invite your friends to be part of this live training. It's going to be fully packed. It's going to be impactful. So just watch out for it. Is the date will be communicated right there in the group. It will be communicated to everyone. Feel free to contact me. You can send me a WhatsApp, you can send me a call on that number right there on your screen, and then let's see how we learn and grow together. That has always been our mantra. We learn and grow together. All right. Now, having established that, let's quickly delve into Excel. Let's go straight to Microsoft Excel. Okay. Now, this night we are going to be going straight to be looking at certain stuff, and like I said, Excel tables. What are the functionalities of Excel tables? Now, yesterday we started and we had these stores lined up. Now, what are the things for us for tables? To get this into table, just press Ctrl T. That's the shortcut. Automatically, Excel will dictate the range. Excel will dictate the range of what we are talking about. That's the shortcut, Ctrl T. So once you do that, you see what we have here. It says our table has headers. We say okay. Now automatically Excel will convert this to table. Now this is table. You can come here to select different table designs. Let's take for example, let's say I select this blue. We select this blue on the table design. Okay, I remember we did some basic formatting on it. Okay, let's say we select this. Now this formatted as table. Now yesterday we did total, we did average, we did what do we call it, marks and what have you. However, when we come to table design, under this aspect of table design, we have some stuff we have here. You see this, we have it, the total row. Now if you click on this, if you click on it, you see that automatically there is a figure here that Excel will dictate. The total row automatically, there is a figure here Excel will dictate. Here you can, if you look at this, it shows you a top total, subtotal, that's 109, Friday, subtotal. Now it calculates everything here automatically. If you hit enter, that's this. If you want to get for this as well, you can come here and get whatever you want. If it's sum, you click on sum, it gives you for this. The same way, if you want, instead of coming to put formulas, and then the total row can give you stuff like that. If on Wednesday you want average, you select average, it gives you the average sales for Wednesday. If you want sum, you select sum, it gives you the total sum. And that is one of the functionality of a table. That is one of the functionality of a table. If you are joining, let me know where you are joining me from, your name and where you are joining from, please. That will be much appreciated, the name and where you are joining from, so that I will know those that are available on this live section this night. And if you are also joining, do well to like the live, and then just press the like button for the live sections. It will help us to go a long way. All right, okay. Now, if we don't want the total row, we can also go to this place and disable it. We go to this place and disable it. That is off. Now, another thing about table is, let me insert stuff. Another thing about table is that, let's Control Z. Before I do that, let me explain. Another thing about making your data to be in tabular form is this. Let me do stuff like, another stuff is this. Let me insert okay, let me insert another cell here. Let me also insert another one here, and let me increase this one a bit. Now, one thing about a table is this. One of the advantages of a table is this. If peradventure I'm here, what this is value, and here I want to calculate total. This total that is here, I want to calculate it. Immediately I type total here and move down. Automatically Excel will absorb this as a table, as part of this table. Automatically Excel will absorb it as part of this table. Now, however, if I give a space and type it here, it will not absorb it. So if I type anything here, let's say I put average here and move forward, it will not. Why? Because there is already a space. Excel will not dictate it as part of the table. So for you to ensure that Excel dictates it as part of the table, just type next to the table, to the end of the table. That's one privilege or one advantage of a table. So automatically I don't need to reformat this again and include this total as part of the table. I don't need to do that again. So that saves me that time. That's number one privilege of a table. Another privilege is that for here, if I now say equals to, I put sum like we did yesterday, and then I drag from here to this place. Watch out what will happen now. Watch out what happened. I dragged from here, I said equals to sum. I calculated from Monday to Friday. I want to get the exact value that I have here. But once I hit enter, you will see what the table will do. I hit enter. Now automatically it does it, it repeats that for other stuff. So the stuff I did yesterday to come into this place to double click and to fill up this place, I don't need it. It's no longer needful for me. It's not necessary for me. So with table, that will make me to the repetitive stuff I needed to do, or some stuff I will need to repeat again, table will do that for me automatically. The table will do that for me automatically. So the stuff here is that in table it helps dictate certain trends, certain repetition, certain sequence. So if this is sum, it will repeat it down to this place to sum up all stuff here. So that becomes something very helpful, something very handy. And let me say this, if you are working with Excel, it is highly recommended as well that you format your data in a tabular form. Format it in a tabular form so as you can have access to your filter. You can also have access on table functionalities like what I have shown us, like this functionality of total row. You can have access to it. You can also have access to insert your slicer, which is more like advanced aspect. And also in the filter button, you can also have access. If you don't want this filter button, you can also come here to remove it. If you don't want your table to have that filter button stuff, you can remove it from here. And of course, it will be in this format. If you want to bring back the filter button, you can also check it here. It will appear. Another thing I will encourage us this night, I will encourage us to always do is that whenever you insert your table, come to table design and here name your table. What is that table for? If it's, let's say, January, you can name it January report, and then you hit enter. That means this table is no longer table 2. The name is now January. It is highly recommended that you name your tables. Very recommended. Now these are basic functionalities and basic aspect of a table. Another stuff in table is this. A table can, let me insert some stuff. Now let's say, for example, I received another data. Let's say I received another data for 9. Let's say I receive another data. Let me get this 9 week 9, and then I have 161 000 stuff like this. I move 1920000 stuff like this, and then let me select the 2, and I think this should be here. That's for this 3. Now if let's say I receive this data, and next week that is the summary that I receive. So what do I need to do? I can now come here, I can say Ctrl X to cut. If I say Ctrl X, let me Ctrl Z there. Let me move this, take it up to this again. I think that should be okay. I made a mistake. Ctrl Z. I should take only this, and then yeah, this will do it. Now Ctrl X, that's Ctrl X, this X, Ctrl X to cut. So let's say I cut off this, Ctrl X, and then I receive this and now want to paste it here to be part of the table. The table will automatically absorb it as well. That is also not just only on the column side, it can also absorb it on the row side. So if I say Ctrl V, automatically you see this is being absorbed, and then the calculation is done automatically. the calculation is done. We get the total. I don't need to perform the function again. So if I receive the one of week 10, I just need to add it here. From there, I build up. I will still continue to build this up to week 10, week 11, down to 52 weeks for the whole year. And then I can draw my insight, do some calculations and some analysis as the case may be. And that is also one of the key uses of a table. Now, having established the aspect of table, let's now move to Excel functions. Excel functions and formulas. Let's look at this. Let's use that to build this particular stuff from scratch. This is one of our practical hands-on project from scratch, sales report. So to do that, let me, like yesterday, let's work this from scratch. I will have to click here and drag. Let me do that again. Click, hold, and drag to where I want to stop. Let's say I want to stop here. I release my hand and then head over to this or to this and say merge and center. I will click on it, merge it and center it. I can come over to this. Let's say I select green. I like green. I'm a typical Nigerian. I like that green color. And then let's say I put here ABC Super Store. That's on that. Select this. Let me make it white and let me bold it. And then let's increase the size. I'm just doing this from scratch. All of us follow me. Let me bold it, and then also let me insert another row. Here this is how I like to do it, even for my clients. Then let me come here as well and merge it. And also let me come here, let's say I select stuff like this. If this is not okay, I can go to more colors. I might have to select this, and this is okay for now. I can say sales report. I can put here sales report. With that, select here. I can make it white as well. White will not be okay. Let me leave it at that black color. And then let me increase the size a bit. Now this is one ABC Superstore sales report. Now the first thing in this report is our item ID. Please pay attention. I'm going to be starting with my first function. Now to generate an ID, you are working as a storekeeper, as an inventory personnel, or as a sales executive, sales manager, or you are even working as an admin, as a clerk. You are to generate a unique ID. When I mean a unique ID, an ID that in that record, in that data, it doesn't repeat. There is no duplicate. You want to generate a unique ID. Now, how can you go about that? How do you do that? So here now, I'm going to be doing this. Let's use the first function to generate a random ID number, item ID. So I can say equals to, remember yesterday we said every function, every formula, any calculation you want to do in Excel must begin with an equality sign. So we say equals to, the first function we are going to be looking at tonight is this function called rand between. We use this function to generate random numbers, random figures, so as to not have a duplicate. So once that is done, when you double click, it will be equals to rand between. It will ask you what's the bottom. I can say anything between 100, comma, and what's the top, anything between 10,000. I want to generate a random value, a random figure, a random number between 100 to 10,000. Then close my bracket and hit enter. Automatically Excel will generate a random figure for me. I can drag it down. let's say to this. Now, another secret I'm going to teach us this night, if you look at all these values, they don't have duplicate. There is no duplicate. Now, one of the secrets you are going to learn this night is this. When you look at all this, if you look at this, you look at this, you look at this, in the formula bar, Excel is seeing it as a formula, as a function. Whereas we are looking at it here as a normal value, as a numeric value. So if you don't want it to be as just function, you want it that if I click here, like this is item name, it should be that if I click here, it should be 7822, not the function that gave rise to this. If I click this, Excel will show it as item description. However, but if I click this, Excel is not showing it 7822. Rather, it's showing the formula, the function that gave rise to this. So to change it, to make Excel to see it as its real value as it is, what we need to do is we are going to highlight all this. Now, instead of us doing this over and over again, clicking and drag down, that might take us time, especially when we are working with a large data set. If you are working with a large data set, clicking, when you click and drag down, will take time. It will take a lot of time. In fact, it will take a huge time. The pay is not advisable. So what do? What you do to do this is that hold Control, hold Shift. Hold both Control and Shift. Hold both Control and Shift. Once you click on the first number you need to highlight down, hold Control, hold Shift, press your down arrow. So automatically Excel will highlight the entire range. I repeat, hold Control, hold Shift, press your down arrow, Excel will highlight the entire range. Now, if you have here and you want to go up, hold Shift, hold Control, and press the up arrow, it will highlight the entire range. However, now what you will see here is hold Shift, hold Control, press up. It will highlight it both the item ID, but we don't want the item ID to be among. You remove your hand from Control while still holding Shift. Remove your hand from Control while holding Shift and then press the down arrow. It will deselect the item ID and now select only that range. So anyway, in any form you want to follow, if you want to follow this form, you select this, hold Control, hold Shift, press the down arrow, it will select it. Or if you're already down here, you want to start from here, hold Control, hold Shift, press the up arrow, then remove your hand from Control while holding Shift. While still holding Shift, then press the down arrow. It will deselect that particular heading, the column heading, and now selecting only the range. Now, with that, having established that, having explained that, the next we do is you press Ctrl C. Ctrl C is to copy. Ctrl C is to copy. Now, why you copied or why you already copied this is still showing functions. It's still showing the function that gave rise to this. Head over to paste. Don't click this one on top. There are two separate stuff here. Please, I know why I'm taking my time to explain this. Don't click this top one. Just select the paste where you see paste. Don't select where you see folder. Go to this paste. It will give you further functions. Come down to this where you see values. When you hover it, you will see the function or e-stacks will display, which is pasting as values. Then click on it. The one you see 1, 2, 3, you click on it. Automatically it will change. Now what you are having here is now as value. If I click here, Excel will show me the value 8889. If I click here, it will show me 2201. So here I have generated my item ID. this function is handy for persons who assign unique code. You are working in an office, you are a storekeeper, you are an inventory. Please confirm if I'm audible. I think network is having a bit of glitch. All right, I think we are back. Okay, now I will skip the item name, item description due to time. It depends on the item you are working with. Here, item quantity, I'm going to use that function again, run between to generate my item quantity. Here I'm going to say between 1, let's say between 1 and 100. That is between 1 and 100, hit enter, it gives me 27. I will double click here, it draws down. Now remember, it's still as a function, not as a formula, not as a value. So if I use this for my calculation, it most likely will not be effective. So I need to copy this, Ctrl C, head back to paste, but instead of pasting it, I will now paste as value here the same way. Immediately it will update it, but this is the final one. And then if I look at this, is now as value. Okay, that is our item ID. Then the store location we might have, let's say location, let's put some names as regards to location. Let's put some locations. Let's say if let's say Ibadan, let's say Owerri, let's say Aba, and that, let's say we have these locations. Let me use that to refill others. Let me on Ctrl Z. I think I'm being fast. Let me take it again. Now let's say these are our store locations, and because of the purpose of this lecture or this training, I want to use this to fill other ones. So I highlight from Ife down to Aba. Then remember what we said yesterday, this autofill function. Instead of dragging it down, I will just double click. In quick succession. So once I double click, it will fill others using the same value we have here. Beautiful. All right, now here we have item cost per quantity. In other words, cost price per quantity. I'm going to assign a random cost price using the same run between. I'm going to be fast on this. This will be between 10,000 comma to, let's say, this is 100,000, let's say between to, let's say 500, and hit enter. All right, we have this. Let me drag it down by double clicking. We already know that. And then Ctrl C, come here, paste it as value as well. We already know that. Beautiful. That is our cost price per unit. Now here I'm going to be adding another function. I'm going to be using another function or another formula or strategy to generate my selling price per unit. Now let's say each of these selling price, let's say we are adding 20,000, 50,000, 15,000, 30,000 as the case may be to our cost price. Now how do we do that? We can say equals to, let's say 20,000. Let's say 20,000 plus. Now instead of now saying plus this, instead of saying plus this, yes, I think we should do that. That's 20,000 plus that. That should be what's okay. I think that way we get our selling price per unit Uh, okay, yeah. So we say plus this, and then we hit enter. And here we double click. Down that will be our selling price per unit quantity. Our selling price per unit quantity. So we already have our selling price, our cost price. This is transaction date. Now in the transaction date, in our sales report, it has to bear the date or the day the transaction was made. So if you are preparing this template to be used for your transactions, and that instead of not every now and then you come to enter, for example, today is what's today's date? Today is 28. Instead of coming to say 28 second, I think that's how my system works, 2025. Instead of saying this is not my date format. My system date format is, okay, the month comes first. This one thing also you will have to understand in Excel. When you are entering date, when you are entering the date in your system manually, check the format of your system date. Excel works with that. So in my system date, the month comes first, then followed by the day, which is 28, and then 2025. Now you see immediately if I move away, automatically Excel move it to this point. So if I click on this, it's already in the number format. We will talk about that later. In the number format, you see already is date. But if I use this pattern like I used before, 8/28 to 2025, if I use this, Excel will be seeing it as ordinary value, a general value. Excel will not be seeing it as date. Why? Because my system date, as you can see here on the screen, my system date is that the month comes first before the day. So if you know your system date format, you use it while entering the date in your system manually if you are to do that. However, what we can do is to use the date function. To use the date function. What is the function for date? We can say equals to, if you don't want to make mistakes, use the date function. Tomorrow, if you open the folder tomorrow, it will take the date of tomorrow. That's why this function is very important. So for this, you put equals to today. When you type 2, this function will pop up. You double click. Now the only thing you now need to do is to close the bracket. That's all. Once we hit enter, it will show us the date of today. So with this, we have our today's date. So if you are working with me and you make use of this function, tomorrow when you wake up and open this folder again, save it, you will see that the date will change to 29 because it's making use of the current date. It will change to 29. Now, the time of transaction, if we have, I think is this, I think that's, no, I forgot that function. I think I forgot that function I needed to. There's something, I will remember that. I will check. I will remember. I forgot this aspect. I don't use it often. That's why. The transaction time, I don't use it often. Okay. Now I will remember that to put it automatically. It will dictate the time. If you are working with time, it will dictate the time. So it's more like, for example, you prepare the template, a time sheet. A timesheet, you a HR, you prepare a timesheet for persons. When they come, they go and enter their name on the system. They don't need to enter the time they come, they arrive. They don't need to enter the time. Once it is in that area, the time will be dictated. All right, now the next is okay, right here I'm going to double click. Let's say we are having this today. Now the total cost price, to get the total cost price will be equals to this, item quantity times the cost per item. To get the total CP, that is cost price, will be item quantity sold times item cost price per unit, or the cost price per unit item. That will give us the total cost price. So that is what we have here, equals to E8 times G8, and we hit enter. So we have this. We can as well double click, and we have this record here. Now amount sold will be the selling price times the total quantity sold. The same way we have equals to this, shift 8 will be asterisk dash times this. Now that is one way to do that. Another way we can do that is to use the product function. Which is PRO. That is this, you see the product here. Now once that is done, you double click, you select, you can click on this one, comma, and click on this, the selling price per unit. That will work as well. So this function is multiplying this and this. We hit enter. So with that, we have our amount. So the same thing we can do here is to double click. That is that function. We have used the multiplication, we have used the addition in the previous section. Now the profit. What is our profit? Our profit is simple, is selling price time minus cost price. Here this is our total selling price, this minus this. So once we have that, we hit enter. This becomes our profit. For selling 20 items of this particular item. Then hence we double click here. That way it will. All right. Then the next we are going to be looking at is to calculate the percentage profit. Now in calculating percentage profit, what we need is we need our profit, and then we need our total cost. However, before we do that, the first thing we do is we can highlight this entire column. We can highlight the entire column, and to highlight the entire column, you click on the column name. This is the column name, that's N. You click on it, it's highlighted down to the last row. All right, so once that is done, let's make it percentage. Now why do we do that? I will explain. Now once I click on this percent style, once I click on it, everything, any number here is in percent. Any number here will be in percent. If I type 5, it will be 5%. Take note of that. If I type that, it will be 5%. But here, if I type, it will just be 5. Now, the difference between this and this is that why should I make this percentage first before typing? Is that if I type 5 and now go over to this and click percent, automatically it will be 500%. Why? Because the conversion factor of percent is 100. Anything you want to convert to percentage, you times it by 100. So having that understanding, we have to first of all make this to be in percent. So if I want to assign 7% to this, I will need to first select this cell, go to this, select the percent, and then come to put 7. So with that, it will be 7%. But if I want to assign it first if I want to type the value before assigning percent, the next thing I need to know the decimal places. So I can say 0.07. If I don't know the decimal place, that will be a challenge for me. So here now, if I click on this and convert it to percent, it takes this. But that is kind of a time wasting for me. Let me delete that. All right, that having been explained, the percentage profit, for us to get percentage profit, we say equals to, this basic formula for calculating percentage profit is profit over cost times 100 over 1. That's the standard formula for calculating percentage profit. However, we have already assigned percentage to this cell, so we don't need to say times 100 over 1. The only thing we need is to say profit. This is our profit. We select it, then divided by the total cost, which is this. That is what we need to do. And then we hit enter. So we have 8% profit. From this, we are making 8% profit. We can drag it down. We check the rest. There are these ones, 4%, 11%, as the case may be. That is that. Then we have the states. We can put here Osun, we can put Oyo, we can put Imo, and then we can say Abia. Now these are the states. We can double click and refill the rest. Then for the region, let's say we say West, here we say West, here we say East, here we say East as well. And then let's select this and double click. Now what we just did was to do a simple sales report that comprises of the amount sold, the selling price, the cost price, and what have you, and also the date of transaction. Also the date of transaction. With this, we have looked at the product functions, we have looked at the plus formula, the negative, minus, we have talked about the percentage. We have also looked at I think the minus, the addition, the multiplication, the percentage, the product function. We have also looked at the rank between function. We have also looked at that. Now the next we also look at, if we want to find the average profit or the average sales, get the total sales, we can also do that. On our own, we can practice, come over here, get the total, or what have you, whatever you want to do with it. Now moving forward, we want to look at certain other functions like sum if function. We want to look at average if. We want to look at count if. We want to look at count if. We also want to look at if. Let's look at the if statement. We also need to look at the if statement. Let's also look at the functions. Let me go to formulas and let me check some functions here. Lookup function. Okay. We will also look at for X lookup. I think with this I will be doing justice to some of these functions. Sum if, average if, count if, X lookup, and then I might as well look at the AND function and then OR function. All right, now these are the functions maybe I will be looking at this night. Now when you look at this, if I go up, you will see that these functions that I want to calculate is off the screen. Now if I want to maintain them and at the same time maintain the up, what I just need to do is to come over here. I just need to click here and then go to my view. By the view, I will now select freeze pane. Watch out what happened. Now before I do that, watch, if I go down, you see the up, I'm not seeing the headings. I'm not seeing the headings anymore. But if I go up as well, I'm not seeing the down. But if I want to be seeing everything from here upwards, I want to be seeing them. I don't want them to vanish. I don't want them to disappear. That is when I can use my freeze pane. That is one stuff. So once I click here, go to freeze pane, I select freeze. So once that is done, watch again. If I go down, you see the ones are going up, but this up is steady, is static, so that I can see my column headers, the heading for the tables. So that way is okay for me. All right. Now the sum if, what do we use sum if for? Let's say our manager comes and said, we want to know how much we generated, how much profit we generated from, let's say, Ife. We want to know how much profit we generated from Ife store, the store location from Ife location. We want to know how much profit we generated from there. So to do that, we need to use the sum if. Sum if. So sum if will give us the profit from Ife. That's one of the stuff that sum if helps us to do. Now to do that, I'm going to say equals to, I will type sum. This function comes out. I'm not going to use sum again. I'm going to use sum if. Now once I select this sum if, now what is the range? What is the range? What is the range? The range is the place, is the range where I'm looking for. Here I'm looking for Ife. I'm looking for Ife here. This becomes my range. If we are looking for state, let's say we want to know the total, the profit generated from, let's say, Osun State. I will come to this state. This becomes my range. If we are looking for region, the profit generated by region, I will look, this is my range. However, here we are looking for Ife. So this becomes the range. So if what's the range here, I will come here to click, hold Control, hold Shift, and press my up arrow. Now remember what I said initially, I'm not including the store location as part of what I'm looking for. So I will remove my hand from my control and press the down arrow. Now we highlight this entire range. So after that, I press comma. Now what is my criteria? The criteria is what I'm looking for. Here I'm looking for Ife. So to do that, I open double quotation and then type Ife and close it. Now in Excel, I need to state this with us this night. In Excel, when you are typing character text, when you are typing alphabet text characters in a formula or in a function, you are declaring a text, you are declaring a name, a value, a character in a function. In Excel, you put it under quotation, under double quotation. But if it's a number, there is no need. You don't need to put it under any quotation. So that is under, bear that in mind, please. Then here I will put comma. Let me scroll down so that we can see this. Whatever I'm doing is also displaying here. Now this comma was my sum range. My sum range is that when Excel sees Ife, what will it check to sum for me? The profit. So here is my sum range. Under profit here, that is my sum range. I will hold Control, hold Shift, press up, remove my hand from Control and press just one down. just one down. I will press the down arrow once, not twice, while holding shift. Press the down arrow once. We have highlighted the entire range. Now if I hit enter, automatically it shows me this is the total profit generated from IFE. Now you might want to know if it is real, if it's correct. Now let's look at it. This is a small data set. Let me go to home, put some filter here. Let me put in some filter. We have just gone 1 hour ahead. I pray time permits us. Now let me deselect this and select only IFE and say OK. Now you see we have IFE here, and this is the profit. Now on your own, do the math, and then you will see on your own, do the math. 182 stuff, 190, 11200 stuff. Do the math, you will most definitely arrive at this answer. That is for the sum if. So let's remove this filter here, clear the filter. Let me come here, remove the filter as well. All right, now onto average. Average is the same stuff. Average is the same pattern. The only thing is let me copy this. Let me copy this. Okay. Let me just copy this formula here. Control C, and let me paste it here. Control V. That's the same formula. But the only thing that needs to change is that I will now come over to this place, remove the sum if and replace it with average if. That's the only thing that needs to change, and replace it with average if. The same pattern. Since I'm looking for the average profit generated from IFE, if I'm looking for another location, maybe Owerri or your Ibadan stuff, then I can change it. But I'm just trying to be fast to cover a whole lot this night. So this is the average profit. Now if we want to count, how many sales we made in IFE, how many sales we make in IFE, we can use count if. Let's say this is a large data set, we don't really know. We can use count if. We say equals to count. This comes up here, we double click. What's the range? This is our range. The store location, hold control, hold shift, take it up, press your down arrow, and then let's come back to where we are. We put comma. What criteria? The same criteria is IFE. We want to know the number of IFE, the number of times we made sales in IFE. Then close the bracket, hit enter, and it shows that is 4. It shows that to be 4 times. Let's check. If you count it, you can see this is 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that is valid. That is valid. Now, those are the logical functions. Let's look at if. What we use if to do is to assign is a condition. Is a condition. For example, if we, let's say using this data set now. Let's say using this data set, we can say if profit is, let's say we want to reward different stores. We want to reward some stores based on their sales. We want to reward some stores based on their sales. Now, if any store makes a profit on a particular product, let's say a profit, let me apply this so as to separate them. Let me apply that to separate them. let me come to this, remove the decimal places. I think, okay, it's in PowerPoint that I told us, if you are not in the PowerPoint beginner class, is in the PowerPoint beginner class that I said something that in that class I said that when you use Microsoft Office and you see this point here, you see this stuff here, it shows that there is extra functions behind what you are seeing. So that's why if you want to see further form number formatting, we are still getting to get to that. You click here, you see other stuffs as well. So that is on that. I use this comma, a separator, to separate to see this. Now let's take, for example, we want to reward stores that make profit of over $1 million. If your profit is greater than 1 million, we are going to give you bonus. But if your profit is not greater than 1 million, then no bonus. You are not going to get bonus. Those in a sale. So let's say we are adding our bonus here. So we can use the if statement to check which store under which sales that deserves bonus. Now we can come here and say equals if, then double click here. What is our logical test? What are we testing our argument on? What are we testing our argument on? Is profit. If any store, if this profit is greater than, if it's greater than 1 million, that is what we are saying. If you have a profit greater than 1 million, so we need to put here, if this is greater than 1 million, that is that we put comma. Remember I said earlier that in Excel, if it's number, you don't need to put it under quotation. But if it's a text, a character, you put it inside quotation. So that way I don't need to put this under quotation. Here I open my quotation. Now what happens if the value is true? If this is greater than 1 million, what do we need? Let's say we put give bonus, and let's close it. Now what if it's not? What do we get? Then let's say we have no bonus. And then close your double quotation. That is the if statement. If statement. So the if statement or the logical statement is used to apply logical conditions. If you meet this, you get this. If you don't, you get this. So that's what if statement helps us. Let's say the manager now wants to get to know which of the locations and which of the sales that we need to give bonus. We need to give bonus, promo, or stuff like that. We use the if statement to do that. So to do this, we hit enter. So once that is done, you see already it says no bonus. So why is it no bonus? Because this is less than 1 million. So here, if I double click down, you will see that there are those that deserve bonus are those that have 1 million, more than 1 million. You can see them here. That the ones that deserve bonus. You can see give bonus, give bonus, give bonus. This one no bonus, this give bonus. So that way is the if statement. All right, now the next we can look at for is the VLOOKUP. What do we use VLOOKUP to do? What do we use VLOOKUP to do? Now, let's take for example. We want to know the stores. We want to know the name of the stores that we are to give that benefits from the bonus. This is to give bonus. However, the name of the stores to benefit that benefited from this bonus, our bonus system. We want to know the stores that benefit from our bonus system. So to look for, let's say it's a large data set, we are not going to be looking them one after the other. This one give bonus, which store is it? Aba, okay. This one give bonus, which store is it? Okay, this and stuff like that. No, we are not going to be looking at it in that sense. However, we want to use a function so that we can search it and get it straight. We search it and we get it. We get it straight. What do? We use the VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP. What is VLOOKUP? What are we looking out for? VLOOKUP. So we say here equals to, we type X. Okay. Now remember. Now that is one of the stuff that's one of the stuff we will not be able to use this on Office 2019. VLOOKUP is one of the newest functions in Excel from Office 2021. That's where we will see VLOOKUP. What we will see here is VLOOKUP. That's what we will see. We will see here VLOOKUP. And VLOOKUP has some limitations. I need to rearrange this. For this I need to rearrange it. VLOOKUP has some limitations. So time will not permit me to rearrange this data set. Why is that? It's because I'm looking for this. Or let me do that. Let me try to do that here. Let me move. Let me insert stuff here. Let me move you to this place. Okay, this will take me time to rearrange. All right, now we want to know the store. To use VLOOKUP, someone says you can't hear me. Please, can someone confirm if you can hear me? Someone says that she can't hear me. Can another person confirm? Confirm if you can hear me, please. Confirm if you can hear me, if you can see my screen. Please, let's confirm if you can hear me, if you can see my screen, please. I'm waiting for us. Let's confirm. Can you hear me? Can you see my screen? Please, can someone is saying he can hear me. Confirm if you can hear me, if you can see my screen. All right. Okay, I can hear you. All right, beautiful. Okay, now, like I said, XLOOKUP is one of the functions introduced in Excel from Office 2021. From Office 2021, we have access to XLOOKUP. What I'm using for this session this night is Office 2019. So that most of the things that I'm teaching here, most of us will have access to it. If you have Office 2016, 2013, you should be able to use it. You should be able to see it. All right, beautiful. Thank you. Your screen is clear. All right, thank you. Thank you. I can hear you and I can see your screen. Beautiful. All right. Now, however, VLOOKUP is something we can use for what I'm about to do. Now, remember, what we were about to do is to know which store deserve bonus. Let's say we have a large data set. We have this large data set. We have a large data set instead of wasting time. Let me leave it here. And we want to find out the stores that benefited from the bonus. Instead of taking it one by one, okay, give bonus, this one, okay, let's check. You will definitely make mistake because the data is so large. If you are working on, maybe you have 50,000 entries, 100,000 entries, 10,000 entries, you are not going to be checking them one by one. So to know the stores that benefited from the bonus, what you need is to use the lookup function. Lookup function is to search within your data set and give you feedback and give you the result of what you are looking for. That's why we refer to it as lookup function. We give Excel instruction to look up for stuff. Now here, VLOOKUP only look for the value of stuff as like we call it VLOOKUP. Is meaning the V means vertical lookup. It doesn't look for stuff behind. For example, we are looking for stores that benefited from our bonus system. VLOOKUP cannot look for the value behind it. Let me use that simple term. It cannot look for value behind it. It only looks for value after it. So that's why I have to rearrange this data set and bring the bonus to this place so that the store location will be after bonus. I hope we understand what I'm explaining here. Please, if you understood what I'm explaining, drop in the chat that you understand this. I need us to understand this before I proceed. Because VLOOKUP, the conditions for using VLOOKUP, which is V means vertical lookup, is that it looks for value after that which we are looking for. For here now, we are looking for bonus. Now let's take, for example, if I'm looking for office, if I'm looking for maybe for profit, let's say I'm looking for profits. The profit, they want the maximum profit here. Let's say we have the maximum profit, we calculate the maximum profit, we get it here. And then we are looking for stores that has the highest profit. From what I'm seeing here, we have 1.9, 1.9, for example. Now we are looking for stores that have this maximum profit. VLOOKUP cannot search it if it's in this location. It can only look forward. In other words, we can only get the region and the state. We can't get the stores. Please, if you understood what I'm explaining, let me see you in the chat. Drop in the chat, yes, I understand, or I don't understand, let me know. Because that's where most persons, especially beginners in Excel, find difficult or difficult in using VLOOKUP, in understanding the concept of VLOOKUP, is easy. It's very simple. I feel it's very simple anyway. For you to use VLOOKUP, what you are looking for must, let's say, must be the first. Let me put it that way. What you are looking for must be the first, then others have to follow. What you are looking for must be the first, others has to follow. Here we are looking for bonus. Which store location benefited from this bonus? So we are this bonus is the point of emphasis. This is the point of reference. So what we are now, this is the point of reference. The store that benefited from this bonus, we have to be after the bonus. I think that is well clear enough. I think I have explained that enough. So to do that, let's come here and say equals to, I type V. Now once I put V, we see this VLOOKUP. We see this VLOOKUP. I double click on it. Now here we are looking up, we are looking for this. What is the lookup value? What is the lookup value? Now in the lookup value here, we are looking at for, let's say the lookup value is, okay, before we do that, let me come over to this place and place our lookup value. Let's have our lookup value to be, this is the value we are looking for. Lookup value, that's give bonus. We want to know the stores that benefited from the bonus, that are going to be giving bonus. We want to know the stores that are going to be giving bonus. So to do that, I'm going to say equals to V, double click here. Now what is our lookup value? The lookup value is this. I will click on it. Now if you like, you can type it there under quotation lookup value, but I'm going to be clicking on this. Why am I doing this? I want to use this to explain something that I talked about yesterday, relative and absolute referencing. We have three types of referencing in Excel. We have relative referencing, we have mixed referencing, and we have absolute referencing. So I'm going to use this to explain absolute reference and relative referencing. Okay, now we say this and we put comma here. Now, what is the table array? What is the table array? Now the table array is from here all through to this place. That's the table array. From the bonus all down to this end. Anywhere you want to stop, but let's select the entire table. That's our table array. Then after that we hit comma. The next, be watching this. You are seeing this lookup value. We are done with it. That is give bonus arrow 6. Then the table array is what we have already highlighted, and then press comma. We are in the column index. What column are we looking for? In other words, we are saying Excel, if you see this, give bonus. What column do I want to return? What is the column? In what column do I want to return? So here you count. This is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. We have store location. Since XLOOKUP, I no longer use VLOOKUP. I don't use VLOOKUP. XLOOKUP counters all the stuff, all these conditions of VLOOKUP. That's why most times in my analysis I use XLOOKUP straight when it has to do with stuff like this. So once that is done, you put the number where you are looking for the column index. This is the 1, this is 2, this is 3, moving from the bonus forward. Then we put comma. Here, what are we looking for? We are looking for exact match. we are looking for exact match. Approximate match is 1 if you true or false. So in the Boolean algebra, we have 0 and 1. So 1 is true, 0 is false. So we can say here 0. We put in 0 here, and then we can close up our bracket. Once that is done, we hit enter. So you look at this, you see that in this aspect we have that the first, when we are looking at this, is Aba. Now if we want to go down, if we drag it down, there will be a challenge. If we drag it down, there will be a challenge. Now let's come over to this place. There is something I will do here. Let me make it this $sign, hit enter, and then okay, that's another mistake on my part. Let me hit enter here. Let me redo this one as well. I need to put it under double quotation, under absolute reference, and then hit enter. Okay, now let me double click. Now you see what it gives me, Aba. Why? Because in this aspect, in this give bonus, Aba is the first. Aba is the first in this aspect of give bonus. So it returns that when we run this, the first give bonus under this range is Aba. It doesn't return Aba and then return Ife that needs bonus and then return this. So the first to give bonus is Aba. We hit enter. Now, one of the things that we need to understand is that in running analysis like this, we have to first of all, what we mostly need to use lookup for is to use it to find the best store, the best region, the best state in terms of our sales. So if we need to get the best store, we need to know the total revenue from Ife, the total revenue from Ibadan, Owerri, Aba, and then from there we calculate the best store. So we use lookup function like VLOOKUP to get a value, a singular value. XLOOKUP can give you 2 rows. That is on another level of exact class. Time will not permit me to do this now. However, when you use lookup, VLOOKUP, it gives you one value you are looking for. Here we are looking for give bonus, and for it the first here is Aba. Now watch, if I change this particular stuff here to Ibadan, immediately you see this already changed because that's the first that to give bonus. So what we use lookup to do is to use it to get a singular value, search for it, get feedback, the best city and stuff like that as regards to our sales. VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP can be able to help us to do that effectively. And that is a bit on the VLOOKUP, how you can use VLOOKUP. Remember, what you are looking, the point of reference must be the first, other ones we follow for VLOOKUP. But for XLOOKUP, it doesn't matter the location. It doesn't matter where this is. This can be at the middle, or this can be at the end. For XLOOKUP, it can search for any location. That's one of the essence of XLOOKUP. Now, let's look at AND or OR. These are logical functions that returns true or false. For example, if I say equals AND, I double click. If I say this is equals to Owerri. For example, I close it and say comma, and then say this equals, let's say, bonus, for example, and close it, whereas it's no bonus. Now, because I'm using the and function is a function that we require both statements to be true. It requires both of the statements to be true for it to return true. If any of the statement is false, it will return false. For example, if I now come here as well and now say this, let's say this equals 3 as well, and then close. Provided that one of the statement is false, it will return. Provided that one of the statement is not correct, is not true, it will return false. So if I hit enter, we see that already it returns false. Now let's take, for example, I now come to this formula to edit it and say no bonus, and hit enter. You see it to return true. Why? Because the 3 statement is true. This one, G22, is Owerri. Then E22 is no bonus. F22 is 3, is correct. Now let's take, for example, I remove this and then change the function. Change the function from and to or. I change it from and to or. The or function is a function that returns true when either of the statement. If one of the statement is true, it will return true. Now, even if I come here and change this to be 9, which is not, this is 3, this is no bonus. But provided that this one is correct, it will return true. So if I hit enter now, you will see it returns true. Why? Because one of the statement is true. Or function only returns false when when all the statement is false, when all the statement is not true. Now let me Control C, let me paste it here, Control V, so that we have what we are working with. Now let's see why is false. Why is this false? Now you look at this, we are here. Now enter. Now why is this false? When you double click, you see why is false. We are now here. This is not ABBA. This one is give bonus, not just bonus. And this one is 9, not 67. They are all not correct. They are all false. They are all false. They are all false. I think I will. It's only on function I'm on this night. The time already fast spent. Okay, let me just end this here. That is that on false. Let me look at my only on functions, visualization, validation. Oh my god. Oh my god. Maybe we might have to look out for one more class, or well, let's see what we can, how much we can cover. Okay, now these are functions that will come handy. Okay, now let's look at other functions. Test function. These are functions that under the test function we have trim. This trim helps us to remove unwanted space, unwanted spaces. Like you can see here, this space, there is an unwanted space here, there is unwanted space here, there is also unwanted space here, like here as well. It helps us to remove unwanted spaces. So how do we use trim is very simple. We say equals to type tr, this function will come out, double click on it, select the particular data or cell you want to remove the unwanted spaces, you hit enter. Immediately that is done. The next, let's double click down, or let's drag down rather. You see that what we have here, like this one, you see that that space is eliminated. This more than normal space is eliminated. This one space here at the start is eliminated. The same with this also is eliminated. The same, we look at this also. If we do the same for this country, it will be so that's what trim does. Now proper function helps us to write stuff in a proper way. Kind of, in what we mean by proper is, for example, this name is all in capital letter, but if we want the first letter to be capital, the other ones are small letters, then we use the proper function. Now to do that, we say equals to, we type PR, the function will display proper. We double click on it. Let me select this, and then we hit enter. You see what it does. This already is done. The first letter is capital, the other ones is small letter. The same way is Torres, Luis, Suarez, and stuff like that. If you check them, they are all that. Now the other one is upper. If we want everything to be in capital letter, the same, we say equals to upper. We double click here, and let's select this John here and hit enter. You see all in uppercase, all in capital letter. If we double click, you see all of them also in capital letter. That is for John. Then the next is lower. If we want everything to be in small letters, we can say equals to LW. We see lower here. Double click, let's select Yang and hit enter. All in small letter. We double click and we see the same thing here. All right. Now the next is, for example, we want to join these names together. That is concat. Concat, if let's say our manager comes and say this title, full name, last name, we want it to be in one cell. We don't want them in a separate cell. Dr. Engineer John Yang, we want it to be in one cell. How do we do that? How are we going to do that? To get that done, we can say equals concat. Just forgive me, I'm trying to be fast to see how much I can be able to cover this night. Okay, we already less than 30 minutes to end this section. I don't want this section to be more than 2 hours. I don't want it to be more than 2 hours at all. Okay. If you want to go deeper in Excel, if you want to go further in Excel, there is a scholarships course, 100% free scholarship ongoing for data analysis using Microsoft Excel. You can do where to sign up for that scholarship. There I'm going to be teaching Excel from beginning, from basic to advanced as regards to data analysis. Advanced from basic to advanced for all aspects of Excel as regards to data analysis. You can sign up for that scholarship, and then the scholarship is starting by April, so you can learn more of advanced Excel. Let me see how much I can be able to cover this night before we call it a night. Okay, now concat is, like I said, we want to join this together. So I can now come here to select this, comma, select this, comma, and then select this. These are the names we want to join together. Our manager wants the names to be in one cell, and I hit enter. Now what you can see there is that the names are joined together, but if you look at it, you see that there is no spacing. There is no space. They are all jam-packed together. Now, in Dr. Engineer, there should be space here. John Young, there should also be space here. Now, how do we create that space? How do we create that space? To create that space, let's go back to our formula. Now, when you say concat and you select this, Dr. Engineer, before you put this one, you come here, open double quotation. Once you open it, press your space bar on your keyboard. You hit space and then you close. That is the first space. So that space, we assign space between Dr. Engineer John, and then put comma. Then come also here as well, do the same thing, open double quotation, add space and close it, and then put comma. That way you have inserted space in between this and this, and then space in between this and this as well. So if we hit enter, you see that this space is very, very correct. Now, another thing I'm going to show us why you need also further versions of Excel from 2021 upward. In 2019, this most likely will not work. That is what we call function inside another function. That's what we call nested function in Microsoft Excel. We refer to it as nested function. If I'm teaching for data analysis for advanced Excel, I'm not going to be using this. I'm going to be using at least 2021. So in this aspect here, 2021 or 2024, or that's the version of Excel I'm going to be using. But for tonight, I'm using this. Now, you see that this one, capital letter here, this is capital letter, this is not looking good. Now, our manager wants everything to be properly done. So what I can do here is to double click here. After concat, I can still come here and add a function called proper. I can add proper here. I can type this and double click here. So what that is that this equals proper. In other words, after you have brought them together, then put it in a proper format. That is what it is. So here we open two brackets. I'm going to close it twice. But if you are using Office 2021, 2020, 2024 or Office 365, feel free to try this. Now you see this, okay, this works for this as well. There are some nested functions, it might not work. Now you see that this proper once this happens here, you see that this that is capital before already have been changed to young, other ones small letter. So with this, we call it nested functions. A function inside another function. So once it's joined together, then proper will be executed, and that way we can drag down and have others done in the same manner. And here we have our work. Very, very interesting. So that is our work. Very, very interesting. Now we can also come here. You look at this, you see some unwanted spaces here. Let's say I think this is also a space. Some unwanted spaces here, kind of. If it's true, then we can also come here and put the trim function. If you put them in proper, then you remove unwanted spaces. So here I'm going to close it with 3 brackets. Now we open 1, 2, and 3, and then hit enter. Of course, that is done. Now watch here, there is a space for this. Rather, there are spaces here. I think also there are spaces here. We can drag down. You see that space that was there before already aligned. You see we now have a proper spacing. So with this, you can concat, you can turn it to proper, and then you trim. So any unwanted spaces, you are sure that there is no unwanted space on your data set. This is one of the ways we use to prepare our data for analysis. These are certain functions we use to prepare our data for analysis. So that is the text function. For tonight, I'm going to be stopping here. Find and replace. You do well to check for, you can check some of my trainings on this channel. I have already done justice to some of these functions as well. Do well to check it up and then upgrade yourself as well. Okay, I think that should be all for formulas. Let's look at data visualization, how to visualize our data. Now let's head back to our sales report. Now under sales report, let's say we want to, our manager now says we need to see the profit as regards to, we need to see profits as regards to the locations, or as regards to the stores. We need to see profit as regards to stores, or we need to see profit as regards to the regions. Let's look at region, the profit as regards to regions. Now we have west, we have east regions. These are the 2 regions we have. Now one of the things we need to understand is this: when you want to visualize, it is best to take your data to pivot table. I want to go straight to that and use that to, I want to combine it. I want to combine this basic pivot table and visualization. That's what I want to do now. Basic pivot table and visualization. Why? Because here, for me to do this, for me to visualize this based on to know for Ife, Ibadan, Owerri, and Aba, I need to first of all use some if to get the total profit for Ife, the total profit for Ibadan, the total profit for Owerri, and then that of Aba, and then put them in one setup. For example, I can come here and put them in one setup like this, and then their profit here, and then visualize. That way it will take me time. That way it will definitely take me time. But for this, let me delete this. It's not necessary. I don't need it for now. So in this, I'm going to be putting this in a pivot table. I'm going to be making it to be in pivot table. So if I click anywhere here, I go to insert. Under insert, I come to pivot. I now say from table or range. I select from table or range. So once I click on this, automatically Excel will dictate the range. Automatically Excel will dictate the range. What range? This range. And what sheet is the sales report sheet? That's what you are seeing here, sales report, and this is the data range. Now it's asking, we are inserting a pivot table now. It asks, where do we need the pivot table? New sheet or existing sheet? We want it in a new sheet. And then we say okay. Now this open up a new sheet. And in this becomes, you see pivot table fields. And what are the fields? The column headers our column headers. Like you can see our column headers, item ID, item name, and so on and so forth. Like we can see we have as we have in that place. Now what do we do now? Pivot table makes it easy for us to analyze large data sets. It makes it easy for us to analyze large data set. I'm going to keep it simple. There are different functionalities of pivot table. Do well if you want to learn more detail about pivot table. I have created a video course on it on the channel. You can go on and watch that video for pivot table. It goes further into like slicers, timeline, calculated fields, and all that. But now for this, I'm going to be looking at the basic. Now our manager wants to know the location, the store location, and the profit generated from those store locations. So I'm going to click this, hold and drag it to row and place it here. Just drag and drop. That's what pivot table is. You are not going to put any formula. You are not going to put any function. Just drag and drop. It does the rest. So I dropped it here. You see automatically it dictates it and puts it in a way that I want. Aba, Ibadan, Ife, Owerri. And one of the things it does is that it already sorts it alphabetically. It sorts this alphabetically. Then what else do we need? We need profit. Our profit. Now the rows are for the values. The rows are for the data labels. The data label. While the values are for numbers. Mostly we recommend that you put in numbers. Figures you want to calculate, you want sum, you want average, you want any standard deviation, anything, you can do that. So here we are going to click on profit. We click on profit and we drop it here in the value. So automatically here Excel shows me. Now this is the profit generated here, this is the profit here, this is the profit for this is the profit for Owerri. So here we can see that we are making the least profit here, and it automatically shows us the grand total. This is the total profit we made from the stores, from all the stores. This is the total profit. So if now I want to plot a chart, my manager said he wants it to be in a chart or in a visuals. That's data visualization. In a chart, I can go to my table, to this pivot design. I don't want my grand total to be part of the chart. So I go to design, come to grand total and say off. Automatically this is off. Let's head back to pivot table analyze. So here I will now click on pivot chart. I will click on pivot chart. So once I click on pivot chart, it will take me to different charts. We have this column chart. We have the line chart. Line chart, we mostly use it for trend lines, for timelines. That's mostly where we use the line chart. We have the pie chart. We have the bar chart. We can also have the area chart. There are scatter chart, which is X and Y for plotting graphs. You can create this chart on that, fine. So here we can use either pie chart or we can use column chart. Any of them. For here, let's say I use column chart, and here or this 3D. This 3D stack, if you select this, is in 3D format. If you select this, is also this, select this in this format. Anyone you want. Let's say we select the number of this, and then we say okay. Here is our chart. There are certain things you can do to the chart, and we can come here on the chart. We remove the title for this. We remove total and we put, let's say, profit. We can say profit by location. Profit by location. That becomes our title. Now this, we can also decide to remove this, that will increase our charts. We can decide to hide some of these buttons. To hide them, right click and go to where is it, hide all field buttons. So once we do that, all the field buttons, we have them hidden. And then we can also come over to this to add some design, some styles. If you need any of the styles, if you want to work with this, you can select as well. You can also come here to disable the grid lines, and that grid lines is out. And these are few things you can, few formatting you can apply to your chart. These are the few formatting you can apply to your chart, and then you can decide to reduce it, you can decide to increase it as well. So if you click out, this field will disappear. So that is the chart for our profit. So here we can, from the chart, we can see that immediately. We can see that Aba and Ife is making good profit. Owerri is the least, followed by Ibadan. So that way we have our chart. We can also, if we, let's say the manager comes and said, no, we don't want it in column chart, we want it in pie chart. I want you to change this in pie chart. You don't have to delete this chart and then go over to it again. All you need is to go to chart design. Under chart design, you come to change chart type and then go to pie chart. Let's say the manager wants it in 3D. You can select, this is like this. This is donor chart. This is 3D. This is the normal chart. This is the 3D chart. You say okay. Now it's in 3D format. You can select any of your choice here, any style of your choice. You can select any of your choice, These are chart style. Also different colors here. These are different colors. We have less than 1 minute, and that is for the chart. What have I been able to cover this night? Okay, I've been able to do the pivot table, data visualization, kind of data validation. We are not able to do that data validation, and that, I must say, is where we have to end for tonight's section. I don't want this session to be more than 2 hours, honestly. I must appreciate us for being able to be with me up to this section, up to this time rather. I don't want this session to be more than 2 hours. So is on this note, permit me to end this live session, this live training, this Excel 101 on this note. Here I can guarantee that what we have learned for these past 2 days is able to set us up on a right track in Microsoft Excel. We have been able to see some basic functions, some core functions that we will be needing on our day-to-day activities. We have been able to understand tables. We have been able to know certain stuff, but conditional formatting, and we have been able to look at charts. You can insert chart from here as well. What we aren't able to do is conditional formatting and number formatting. In one of the time we might make our time. However, I'm going to say in the course as regards to data analysis using Microsoft Excel, we are going to go a long way to master a lot of these things. If you have a laptop and you can spare a time within the week, you can do well to sign up for that scholarship course. It's free, but it's mostly for those who have scholarship, who have laptop, and can be able to go along with us for the practical projects we will be executing as we progress in that particular scholarship. And also, like in the month of March, for those of us in for those of us in the Soluma career growth, watch out for this particular training coming up, AI powered content creation. And I want to state this: what we are going to learn on that day is going to be of huge help, of immense help, not just only for content creation, for those of us in strategy formulation in business or in your department, in your organization, how to leverage AI, work with AI, collaborate with AI. AI is not there to replace, your knowledge. Is not there to take the place of your brain. No, it's there to collaborate with you. It's there to enhance. AI is an enhancer. AI is a speaker. You need to have what to speak in order to amplify it. AI amplifies your knowledge, amplifies your voice, amplifies you, not the real stuff. AI is an enhancer. Don't make no mistake about that. AI is an enhancer. So you collaborate with AI. We are going to be learning that in the month of March. Invite your friends, let them be part of what we are doing. The flyer will be from tomorrow. The flyer will be up and the link will be sent in the group. You are required to share the link so that a lot of persons will join that group. Our goal is that group be filled up, and then we open another group for persons to join, to be part of it. And we have stuff lined up, free stuff lined up for those who are going to be sharing this link and inviting others. Thank you for being with me. This section is going to take place in March. AI powered content. And let me give you a snippet, a tip. You are going to learn how to leverage AI to set up a profitable YouTube channel, to start a YouTube channel, faceless YouTube channel using AI generated content. The same you can also do that on TikTok, also do that on Facebook, also do that on Instagram. You only using AI generated content. All it requires from you is just your smartphone. If you have your laptop, fine, but your phone only is enough. So that is a snippet of what we are going to be learning, and how to collaborate and leverage AI to be able to do certain functions and take up certain responsibilities effectively. That's a tip of what is coming in this month of March. Now let me hear from you. How is this section this night? I need your feedback. What have you learned? How impactful is this section tonight? How impactful? What do you learn? Let me get to see that in the comment section. Let me see that in the chat section. Let me know, what have you learned tonight? How impactful is this section? How effective is this section? Let me get that feedback. I always need the feedback each time I handle my section. In that way, it helps me to improve and also helps us to serve better. Let me get that feedback from us. How is this section this night? I can see that. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Well done. You are much appreciated. How is the section this night? Additional Adebayo, you are welcome. Omoruyi, permit me if I pronounce it correctly. You are welcome. Let me get to hear from us. In the chat box, feel free, drop your comment in the chat box. I'm on the chat box now. I'm seeing your chat once it drops. How much of impact is this section this night? I wouldn't want to think that I wasted my time. I wouldn't want to think that I wasted the whole 2 hours. I want to get the feedback from us to know how much of impact is this session this night. Let me see in the chat box. Drop your feedback in the chat box. How much of impact is this session this night? Once again, I'm your facilitator, Mr. Franklin, representing Solomon Institute of Tech and Management. a lead consultant. You already know my profile, not to go ahead to say that over again. You already know my profile. That is the person once again this night. This session is great because I have not seen or learned what I have learned today. Thank you, sir. Beautiful. I appreciate Adesina Debayo for knowing that you have learned something new this night. I so much appreciate that, so much appreciated. We look forward to what is coming up in March. We have a whole lot of content, a whole lot of training lined up for us in the month of March. If you are ready, we are ready. In here we learn and grow together. We learn and grow together. We only encourage you to put to practice what you have learned. The only time we can say we have learned is to practice what we have learned. And when we practice and replicate it, we can boldly say, yes, we have learned. So go ahead, practice what you have learned, ask questions in the group. I'm there, I'm free. Anytime I'm free, I will read the questions and then I will answer it as it comes. And also, in this course, we are going to be getting to learn from one of the experts in AI. You will definitely want to be in her section. And funny enough, it's a female. So don't think that tech and AI stuff is only for guys. Some persons have this notion that it's only guys, mostly guys in tech. I'm happy also that ladies, women are also driven into tech, and the section coming up will be handled by a professional, an expert. I will also be learning. I will also be in the section. I will also be live in that session to learn. So feel free, share it, and then encourage your friends. Thank you for being part of this section. Sammy, I joined late. How do I view the video? Okay, Sammy Ike, don't worry, the section, I will still leave the section. Go ahead. After now, you can click on the link. You can rewatch it on YouTube. It's live. After now, once the section ends, you can rewatch it. YouTube will leave it. It's only when I remove it from the channel, that's when you can't access it. So once you have the link, or once you already a subscriber on this channel, you come to the channel, search for the live section, this Excel live section, you have access to it, and then you can follow and rewatch the section. Is very, very interesting. You do.